Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're embarking on uh, quite a fascinating journey, I think, into a less explored corner of ancient wisdom, the Aranyakas.
That's right.
Our source material for this deep dive is an excerpt called Understanding Vedas, Chapter 4, Aranyaka.pdf.
Hmm.
And our mission today really is to unpack these unique texts, understand their significance.
Yeah, the profound significance.
Exactly, and figure out why they're seen as this crucial bridge, between the big rituals and the deep philosophy of the Vedic tradition.
It's a really key transition point.
Think about it. You have these ancient texts, often quite dense, but these seem to promise a kind of shortcut to deeper meaning.
A shortcut or maybe a different path.
Yeah, like moving from elaborate ceremonies to quiet contemplation, almost like finding a hidden trail in a dense forest.
That's a perfect analogy, actually. And what's really fascinating here is how the Aranyakas carve out their own distinct space.
How so?
Well, while they're often connected, seen as concluding sections of the Brahmanas.
Right, the ritual texts.
Exactly. But their unique character, the content, even the language used, it sets them apart. They're really a distinct category of literature in their own right.
So smaller than the Brahmanas.
Oh, definitely smaller in sheer bulk compared to the extensive Brahmanas, yeah. But their importance, immense, really significant in how Vedic thought evolved.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We often hear about the vast Vedic literature, and the Brahmanas, as you said, they're known for their intricate details on sacrifices. Very practical in a way.
Extremely practical, yes. Focused on the how-to.
But the Aranyakas represent a significant shift, don't they? A real pivot.
Absolutely. A dramatic one, even. The Brahmanas primarily deal with that huge bulk of sacrificial paraphernalia. That whole system represents what's known as karmakanda, the path of ritual action.
Action, okay.
But the Aryankas, and they often lead into the Upanishads.
Ah, okay.
They pivot completely. They chiefly deal with philosophical and theosophical speculations. This is Jnanakanda, the path of knowledge.
Knowledge, not just action.
Precisely. It's a crucial distinction. Moving from doing the ritual to understanding its secret meaning.
So, if the Brahmanas were maybe for householders performing rituals in the village,
In which they largely were, yes.
who were the Aranyakas for? And what does that name actually mean? You mentioned Aranya earlier.
Right, so the term Aranyaka comes from Aranya, meaning forest. They are literally forest texts.
Forest text.
And this name is key. It tells us they were works to be read, to be contemplated in the solitude of the forest.
Directly contrasting with the Brahmanas studied in the village.
Exactly. There's even a quote from the scholar Sayana in the Taittiriya Aranyaka where he explains this. Aranya hanad itad aranyakam itiriyate. Basically saying, because it's studied in the forest, it's called Aranyaka.
So it's about the location.
It's about the location, but that points to the purpose and the person. See, Vedic rituals weren't just for material benefits. They also aimed for mental purity.
Ah, okay. A preparation.
Kind of. Once a certain level of purity or detachment was achieved, the next step was seeking solitude. Forests were ideal for deeper concentration, for meditation.
So Brahmanas for the grihastas, the householders living in the world.
Engaged in daily life and rituals.
And the Aranyakas were more for the vamprastas, those who sort of retired from family life.
That's the traditional view, yes.
Yeah.
Those who renounced the household to live in forests for dedicated spiritual practices, tapas, meditation, contemplation.
Like hermits?
Exactly. The scholar Winternitz calls them forest texts, meant for forest hermits. There's also another idea that maybe these texts weren't just studied by forest dwellers, but actually composed by rishis who lived in the forest themselves, contemplating the deepest secrets of the yajnas, the sacrifices.
So it's not just where they were studied, but who they were for and possibly who wrote them. It marks a real transition in lifestyle and spiritual focus.
A very deliberate shift from external action towards internal understanding.
Okay, so if these are for seekers in the forest, aiming for this deeper contemplation, what kind of knowledge do they actually contain? I heard they're also known as rahasya, secrets.
Indeed, Rahasya secrets. And that name isn't just a modern interpretation. It's mentioned in ancient texts, like the Gopatha Brahmana and Manusmriti. It signals something profound, maybe even esoteric.
So what are these secrets about?
Well, the major contents include things like theosophy or Brahmavidya, the knowledge of the ultimate reality, of Brahma.
The big question.
The biggest. Also, meditation techniques, upasana, and even pranavidya, the knowledge of breaths, the life force.
Wow, pranavidya too. That sounds very relevant even now.
Highly relevant. These texts delve into the hidden symbolic meaning behind the sacrifice, moving beyond the mechanics described in the Brahmanas. What does it all mean? What is Brahma?
That is a huge leap from ritual mechanics. So they describe, yes, aspects of life and action, but mainly the acquisition of knowledge.
That's the core, yes. The acquisition of deeper knowledge. And this really sets the stage, forms the very foundation for the philosophy explored in the Upanishads.
Ah, so there's a direct link.
A very direct link. In fact, some of the oldest, most important Upanishads are actually part of the Aranyakas. They're embedded within them.
Like which ones?
Well, the Taittiriya Aranyaka, for instance, is essentially a continuation of the Taittiriya Brahmana leading into Upanishadic thought.
Okay.
And probably the most famous example is the Aranyaka. It's found within the Shatapatha Brahmana.
Right.
But it's not just an Upanishad. It's often considered the greatest of them all. It is the Aranyaka Upanishad. It bridges that gap completely.
So it's both Aranyaka and Upanishad.
Effectively, yes.
Yeah.
It embodies that transition perfectly. And the Aranyaka specifically, it explains really profound concepts, but often in a surprisingly simple way.
Such as?
Things like the creation of the universe, the nature of the Almighty, the power of Om, the essence of the soul, the cycle of birth and death. Deep, deep stuff.
And our source material had a pretty strong claim about this, didn't it?
It did. Quite a striking claim. It says, no nation, no country, no culture in this age of science has been able to produce such great truths related to the knowledge of the self and the Almighty as are mentioned in this Aranyaka.
That's a bold statement.
It is. It really emphasizes the perceived depth and uniqueness of these insights. The source also mentions the dialogue between Maitreya and Yajurveda as a key example of this pursuit of knowledge over, say, worldly wealth.
Right, choosing immortality through knowledge. That really captures the Aranyaka spirit.
Exactly, that pivot towards internal wisdom.
So these aren't just some dusty, obscure historical footnotes. They contain incredibly deep insights, stuff that people still grapple with today.
Absolutely. And beyond the pure philosophy, our source also notes they contain important geographical, historical, social, and cultural details, too.
Which makes studying them valuable on multiple levels.
Definitely gives you a richer picture of that whole era.
Okay, so given how important they are, this bridge between ritual and philosophy, how many do we actually have today? Are there many?
Not a huge number, actually. Currently, only 7 Aranyakas are available to us.
7, okay.
And interestingly, there isn't one that belongs to the Atharvaveda. The 4th Veda doesn't seem to have an associated Aranyaka, or at least none that survived.
Huh. Why is that, do we know?
That's a good question. The texts don't really specify. Perhaps the nature of the Atharvaveda, with its focus on different kinds of knowledge and practices, maybe just didn't lend itself to this specific forest text format in the same way. But we have them for the other 3 Vedas.
Right. Can you list them? Which ones go with which Veda?
Sure. So for the Rigveda, we have 2. The Aitareya Aranyaka and the Kaushitaki Aranyaka, which is also called the Shankayan Aranyaka.
Aitareya and Kaushitaki for Rigveda. Got it.
Then for the Samaveda, there's the Talavakara Aranyaka, also known as the Jaminya Upanishad Aranyaka, hinting at its content.
Ah, another Upanishad connection.
Exactly. And also the Chandogya Aranyaka, again related to the famous Chandogya Upanishad.
Okay, Samaveda covered. What about Yajurveda?
The Yajurveda has 2 branches. For the Chukla or white Yajurveda, we have the big one, the Brihadaranyaka, which we already discussed, found in the Shatapatha Brahmana.
The great Aranyaka Upanishad.
That's the one. And for the Krishna or black Yajurveda, there's the Taittiriya Aranyaka, which we also mentioned is continuing its Brahmana.
Right.
And the Maitreya Aranyaka.
So that's 7 in total across the 3 Vedas.
Correct. Aitareya, Kaushitaki, Talavakara, Chandogya, Brihadaranyaka, Taittiriya, and Maitreya.
And are some of these studied more than others? Our source mentioned a few seem particularly popular.
Yes, it seems the Aitareya Aranyaka, the Brihadaranyaka, often referred to via the Shatapatha Brahmana it's part of, and the Taittiriya Aranyaka are noted as perhaps the most popular or significant for study.
Probably because of their rich philosophical content and dialogues?
That would be my guess, yes.
Yeah.
They really exemplify that shift towards Jnanakanda.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up for our listeners. What does this journey into the Aranyakas really mean for you listening now?
Well, we've traveled, haven't we? From the bustling village rituals detailed in the Brahmanas,
The world of external action.
to the quiet, introspective, philosophical depths of the Aranyakas, these forest texts that act as that vital bridge.
Connecting action to pure knowledge.
Exactly. And what these ancient texts really reveal is a deliberate, quite sophisticated progression within the Vedic tradition itself.
It wasn't accidental.
Doesn't seem like it. It's a clear move from external observance towards internal understanding, from collective ritual practice to individual meditation and the profound pursuit of self-knowledge, Atmavidya.
They really underscored that true understanding isn't just about doing the acts.
Right. It's about delving into their secret meanings, the Rahasya, and connecting with the ultimate reality that underlies everything.
So here's something to think about. In our time, an age of just constant connectivity, information overload, maybe even distraction.
Definitely distraction.
What can these ancient forest texts, which were literally designed for solitude, for deep, quiet contemplation, what can they teach us about our own search for knowledge and understanding today?
It's a powerful question. Does real understanding require a metaphorical forest, a space apart?
And what about that idea of rahasya, of secrets? What does that even mean in a world where seemingly everything is searchable, accessible, instantly at our fingertips? Is there still value in knowledge that feels hidden, earned through contemplation rather than clicked on?
Maybe the secret isn't the information itself, but the internal transformation that comes from seeking it in a certain way.
Something to ponder, perhaps, on your own deep dive?